of today, you've come at the perfect time, as we are about to head into game number 1 between iRk versus DM. This should be a great series. Let's actually have a look at the standings for Group B so far in the beginning of week 3. Net Wars, Soul Gaming in the top 2 positions. Just behind them, Red, iRk and DM. And BWL as well, hot on their heels. Now Storm and Clan Revolution haven't had the best game so far, but this is going to be a very tense race for those top 2 spots at the end of round 3. Now we're going to be heading into a very fun matchup here. I did announce who it was going to be. Let's show it off just in a second. Now iRk and DM, 2 of our better teams in the STPL. We are in round 3 so far. We've had 2 rounds. iRk came second in round 1, and then DM came 4th, and then we did see in round 2 neither of them did make it into the playoffs, but they're going to be back here fighting for those pole positions for the playoffs at the end of round 3, but they have both already won some qualification points for the grand final of the STPL, which will be happening at the beginning of next year at some point, possibly even March, after the end of round 4. Now just to go through their stats so far, let's have a look at iRk and DM. iRk, DM both going 1 for 1 in round 1. iRk went 3 for 2 last round. DM went 3 for 3, so very evenly matched, at least statistically. Obviously, iRk have been relying a lot on their Terrans and Protoss. We do see DM in a similar situation as well. But DM actually did make it to an ace match in their win, I believe. No, it was in their loss, I think. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. Let's have a look at what maps they're going to be playing on today. Set 1 is going to be on Icarus. Set 2, Athena 2. Set 3 on Katrina SE. Set 4 on Shin Peaks of Baekdu. And the ace match on Neo Ground Zero. If we do make it to it, of course there's a chance we won't make it to a 5th game, but I'm hoping we will. We had a little bit of a one-sided series there between White and Ash, but this looks to be a lot better. Now if we actually have a look at our players, our lineups for both of our teams here, starting us off here, we're going to have a ZVP between Jerry and Kwanwoo, a PBT between DeWalt and Vulture, a ZVP between Kenzie and Tech, and finally, to end us off, if we don't make it to that all-important ace match, it's going to be Oyaji versus Yaj. Now, if we have a quick look at our first players, we'll see how they've been doing so far. Now, Jerry did come out last week for his first game since round 1. He was in South Korea, which is his native country. He is Korean here. For the summer, I believe it was, iRk Agi was saying. But he did lose his first game, unfortunately. Last round, he did play twice, but that was at the very beginning. He did go 1 for 1. He is currently 1-0 up against his opponent's race, who is going to be a little bit of a debut player for DM. Not really too sure of his skill level. He's not played in the SCPL so far. But he's going to be up against a fairly strong Zerg here in Jerry as they move on to Icarus. Now Icarus so far, we've had 3 ZVPs in the SCPL round 3, including the show matches. And Zerg are currently 3-0 up on this map. Now, whether or not that's going to continue is yet to be discovered, but Jerry going to be a strong opponent here for Kwanwoo as we head in to our first game here of the second set. It's iRk's JerryK97 against DM's Kwanwoo. Let's head on over to the game and let's see how this is going to go. Now starting us off over in the bottom middle 6 o'clock position, we do have the Teal Protoss fighting for DM. It's going to be Kwanwoo. His name is really hard to say, by the way. Kwanwoo. I'm going to say Kwanroll at some point, or Kwanroo, but either way, his opponent spawning here in the 9 o'clock position is going to be the Dark Blue Zerg fighting for iRk. or iRk as I used to call them. It's JerryK97. But I just like to call him Jerry. Our friendly neighborhood Zerg. Okay, so Kwanwoo gonna go for a wall at the front. Very standard fare from him so far. I mean, at the start of the game, there's not really too much that changes in ZVP, of course. There's a lot of different options for both players. Looks like we are going to have a Forge Fast expand, though, from Kwanwoo, due to the fact he did Pylon Scout. Usually, if you are going to go for a gateway first, you'll head back into the main, mine a few more minerals. Meanwhile, Jerry is going to be going for an overpull. I mentioned this in the first series as well, where we saw an overpull against the Forge Fast expand. The overpull is the most standard opening in ZVP at the moment. 12 hatch gone out of favor due to the fact we do have a lot quicker gateways coming out these days. Now, we don't see that too much in the STPL, but it's going to be Forge Fast expand here from Kwanwoo. But will he build enough cannons? Obviously, we've seen a few situations where it's been a little bit dangerous with sort of cannons and drones and whatnot, but we're going to look like Kwanwoo is going to block the hatchery from Jerry for now, though. That's going to be a very strong move. Now, he could actually opt to go for Pylon Rush if he really wanted to try and block the third hatchery, but looks like he's not going to. Going to be going into Scout again, seeing that there are 4 lings on the way. I mean, he doesn't know that, but he's going to assume so, I would imagine. The drone is still trying to chase this probe around. But Jerry doing a pretty good job of that so far. One single cannon going to be the only thing built before the Nexus here. So Kwanwoo playing with a little bit of confidence here, knowing that he should be safe for the time being. We may even see a second cannon coming down before the gateway, but looks like he's already lining up to build a gateway here. Second hatchery is on the way. 6 lings actually out for Jerry already, so we really should see that second cannon coming in pretty shortly here for Kwanwoo if he wants to play a little bit safer. Now, I've actually been, well, there was a discussion yesterday on the Foreign Brood War Discord channel about sort of DVP balance, and it feels to me a lot of the early game Protoss losses you see is due to like a lack of a second cannon or something dying to a Ling Rush. Obviously you do have the option of going for something like a Hydralisk Bust as well, which can also kill you if you don't get enough cannons. But it looks like we are going to see Kwanwoo relying entirely on 1 cannon for now. He actually added another pylon in his main before he did this. Now he has pulled probes, which will allow him to hold on to this front for the time being. I believe this is Ling Tight here, and this is Ling Tight here. So the 6 Lings shouldn't realistically be able to get in until the Zealot's ready. And now the first probe actually getting pulled back very, very quickly. Playing a little bit dangerous. Actually going to let the Zerglings into his main. Now only one of them will get in, so that's not too bad for Kwanwoo. And luckily enough, this isn't Jaedong, so this Ling should eventually go down. But Jerry's still a very good Zerg player. Shown a lot of really good games. His first game ever in the STPL was in round 1 against White on Shin Chupugunion, and that was actually a really sick game as well. But thank you for the follows. Unfortunately, because my other monitor is my TV, I can't see my OBS while I'm casting and obsing at the same time, obviously. So if you have just followed, welcome to the STPL. Hopefully you enjoy your stay and you'll be back again in future. But looks like we are going to have Jerry having to deal with a single Zealot and a probe. The probe here to do a little bit of extra damage to make it so Zealots can 2-hit probe or 2-hit Zerglings. Looks like good micro though by Jerry. Is going to take the probe down immediately, and this poor Zealot going to have to turn tail and run home for now. Now of course the Zealot does have the option of possibly trying to juke and drive its way in. There's not really too many minerals that it can hide behind those, so not really too much going to be going on there. And it looks like it is going to turn and fight, but Jerry's Ling micro is absolutely incredible, only losing a single Ling to that Zealot, which is just crazy to me. But we've got Kwanwoo still with a single cannon, relying on sort of a Zealot and a probe to deal with this. Of course the Zealot up the front was going to stop any additional Lings coming in, but do we have Ling speed coming in? Yes we do. That's about to finish up, and maybe this could be a big problem. Now he does need to get the second Zealot into the front of this wall. Needs to be careful with his Lings as well, or with his probes as well. Gonna send those back, and it looks like Jerry is going to put on a little bit of pressure here with his Lings as he goes up into his Spire. Now we don't see an additional gas, so it's not going to be muteless here for Jerry. He's going to be relying entirely on the Spire for Scourge. Should see a 4th and 5th hatchery coming on quite shortly after this. Meanwhile, in the Protoss base, we do have an extra pylon coming up here. Stargate already on the way. Citadel on the way as well. So hitting his build timing is actually going to see him go for +1 Corsairs. That's going to benefit him a little bit. He's actually adding on a decent number of cannons as well, so he shouldn't be too worried about early game pressure now. The first Corsair are actually going to go for a kill on the Overlord before doing a scout. Now, this can be a little bit dangerous because if the Spire's ever so slightly quicker, which you should know it isn't, then you can get Scourged pretty quickly. But the first Overlord going to go down, going to supply block Jerry actually for the meantime, stop any additional drones being added on. And that's a little bit of a pain. He can't actually add Scourge on, which is the big deal. Now the 4th hatchery is on its way up. The 5th hatchery as well. Now Jerry, of course, Kwanwoo doesn't know that Jerry doesn't have any extra drones, or any extra overlords, so he's not going to be able to sit there and hit overlords forever. And now the first Scourge actually going to pop out. It looks like he built those as soon as he lost one of his lings, so they do pop out. They're going to be chasing this Corsair back home. Interestingly, there is a cannon back here. I was going to say there's no cannon, but he is going to get that. That will stop the Scourge from being able to camp over the Stargate. Very important to do, especially after you do have that new micro you can do with Scourge to sort of shift double click them somewhere, so they move off with full acceleration. Now Jerry making good usage of his Scourge, keeping an eye on the Zealots after they left the base. Very important to keep an eye on where they're going, because you can have really awkward situations where you lose a lot of probes and everything like that. But the second gateway is in for Kwanwoo now. Looks like we are going to have the Templar Archives coming up behind this. Going to have a Robo coming in quite shortly as well, I would imagine. Zealots still looking to try and move out and do some damage. +1 attack should be almost finished, so that should finish. Maybe he's pushing out a little bit too early, but you would say that that would finish just to get to the 3rd base. But Jerry already with a good number of links. He's also got Sunkens, and he's gone into muteless behind this. He did actually add the 2nd and 3rd gas while I wasn't paying as much attention, trying to keep an eye on where the Scourge were going. But are we going to have cannons in the mineral line? None just yet, but he will have to add a couple if he wants to stay alive. I mean, he does have a good number of +1 Corsairs, 5 to be precise, +1 about to kick in. Now the Zealot's actually moving on back as well. Now Wendy, I'm kind of surprised he's not really trapped a probe anywhere. Like, I guess this is his Corsair probe. I didn't know that would actually block, so good moves by Kwanwoo, going to allow him to stack his Corsairs a little bit easier. Obviously, if you stack muteless, you have to use an Overlord, and they can fly all over the place, so do need to be a little bit more careful as the game goes on. Now, we are going to have a DT heading up to the 3rd base. Is there any detection? There is 3 Overlords, and the Corsair's obviously not going to be able to go and clean this up, but can he get some damage done before the Sunken kills the DT? Looks like we are going to see Jerry scouting out that DT there with his Overlord for just a second, and you see the muteless immediately flying back. He does not want to lose the game to DTs. That is such a sad situation when you see that happen. Now the DT unfortunately going to go down to the defense, and Jerry immediately going to go for a counter with his muteless. Now the good thing with that DT is it may not have done any damage, but it did buy Kwanwoo some time. Still no cannon in his mineral line. That could be a little bit dangerous. Going to add a second cannon here at the main nexus though. But one thing I'd just like to point out is look at Jerry's vision right now. He sees absolutely every other base that he needs to see. Now there is a good number. I believe that's 6, 7 +1 Corsairs, which are going to do an insane amount of damage to these mules as they fly in. You can see just how quickly they're going down. Now, Jerry going to be relying a lot on his Scourge micro here to try and take those down, but he's doing a really good job camping under this Archon, which has +1 damage as well. Archon's actually, I believe, 2-shot Scourge. I know it's actually 1-shot Scourge even, my bad. So Archon's obviously very good. If he gets his target firing down, he could be in a very good position, but the trouble is, for Kwanwoo right now, he's on 6 gates for sure. He's got his Robo coming up, but he's stuck on 2 bases for the time being. Now it looks like he wants to try and clear out the bottom left here, but he needs to be careful. There's still a lot of Muteless, still a lot of Scourge coming in now. He doesn't actually manage to find this Link, so that Link's going to be able to come back another day. Now he actually went back to double check, but does miss it still. No Hive on the way just yet, but Overlord Speed obviously on the way. Very, very standard in CVP to see that. A lot of Hydros back home being created. Lurkers on the way as well, so he is going to transition out of this airplay, which will give him a little bit more staying power as we go into the mid-game. The Probe actually a hero there, managing to get up that Nexus before it goes down, but this is going to give the Muteless a time to come in. We did see a single Storm going down, didn't actually hit anything. Oh my god, the split by Jerry on those Corsairs was incredible with the Scourge. I mean, he's lost most of his Air Force for now, but that was 4 Corsairs he took down with just Scourge. What great cloning. I mean, Kwanwoo is still doing a pretty good job. He's even on supply with the Zerg. Not looking good for him at the moment, but he does have a decent unit composition. Does have a couple of Storms here, so if he can get the Storms off, maybe he can make this happen. A great Storm at the back. They're going to do a lot of damage to the Hydralisks. +1, +2 attack, not yet finished. But the Zealots are chewing through these Hydralisks right now. And I mean, it looks like the Storms have run out for the time being. An additional Storm about to finish up, and he gets another great Storm. Not getting that many kills, but doing a lot of damage. And a great Storm in reserve. They're going to take down a lot more of these Hydralisks. But the unit count of Kwanwoo has been diminished. And Archon just morphing in with 10 kills. So that was a very effective High Templar. But Archon's not all that good against Hydras, and it's a lot of Dragoons coming in here behind this. +2 attack finally has finished up for him, but he's lost most of his units back home. He's trying to rebuild his army, but just look at the swell of Zerg units heading across the map right now. Jerry on 6 hatcheries right now, pumping units out of every single one of them. +1 attack has now finished. Units trying to go into the third, going to be blocked by these cannons, which is going to give Kwanwoo a little bit of hope in this game, as he's going to be stuck behind a Lurker wall outside of his natural. A DT coming in here, ironically, going to have to be very, very careful that he doesn't die to Splash. Oh my god, he's going to run through the Splash. That's a little bit unfortunate. Oh, but the DT going to go down to the Hydros with the Overlord. Wow, was that 2 DTs there that I completely missed? But looks like these Lurkers out the front of the base going to be doing a lot. Corsairs, actually a shuttle going in. Sorry, I missed that. A 4 Zealot drop over here in the main. Going to get a decent number of probes, disrupt the mining as well. And he kills the Spire, more importantly. That's going to make any additional shuttles a lot stronger. I'm sorry for missing that. But there's a lot of action going along everywhere on this map. Muteless coming into the third mineral line right now, trying to take out these probes. Nothing there is in reserve to try and deal with this. The cannons, oh sorry, the gateway and the forge at the front of the base, doing a lot of damage. This poor Dragoon is not long for this world. A lot of units back here for Jerry as well. It looks like the first observer has finally come up. A great Storm there by Kwanwoo. Look at how many kills that got. 6 kills on a single Storm on Hydra. This is a very, very effective Storm, doing a lot of damage to the other ones as well. And that's going to neuter the push by Jerry for now. But the trouble is, there's nothing back here to defend this third base. 3 Muteless are going to take that down. It looks like we do have a single Corsair coming over here. As it is only 2 Muteless, they are going to be stacked up. The Muteless not actually attacking the Corsair right now. But looks like he is going to try and draw them back into the cannons. That's going to be a couple of dead Muteless. Good usage of his units there by Kwanwoo. But, I mean, the trouble is, Jerry in a very good position outside of the base. There's so many Zerg units flooding across the map. He's taken a supply advantage against the Zerg player, which is something you don't want to be seeing. Against the Protoss player, even. But looks like he is going to push in again. Is there another great Storm here by Kwanwoo? It looks like there isn't. He's out of Storms for now. And that's 2 High Templar getting sniped. He does actually have 2 Storms back here. but didn't quite get them in time. Now he is going to have +2, but I don't think he has Dragoon range. It definitely feels like he doesn't. That's a good storm, but he's weathering. It's whether or not he can hold on to this and how long he can. Now this third base going to be protected now because of the lack of Spire. No Scourge going to be able to come in to take down his Corsairs. And I mean, the Spire being rebuilt in the same place. Is Lightning going to strike twice though with that shuttle drop? Zealot moving around the top right of the map. Going to see if he can find any additional hatcheries, any additional drones. A single Zealot up here actually blocking the 4th base. Killed 2 drones already. A little bit of a hero up there. Jerry is a Korean player that plays for iRk. I believe he lives in the UK at the moment studying, so unfortunately he has taken the title of best UK player away from me that I did inherit when Cadenzi left. Bit unfortunate for me, but Jerry, a very, very fun and cool Zerg to watch. Now it looks like Kwanwoo still trying to build up his units. He isn't going to be able to go into +3 attack for now. He's actually going to add on another gateway. I mean, he does have 3 bases mining now. He doesn't have that many probes, but you can see he's actually shuttled them over. A nice little Maynard. Pretty good for him. Now, Jerry moved up into the top left. Going to scout out that there is a world. He's going to kill the Zealot that's trying to take down this 4th hatchery. Now, the one benefit that Kwanwoo has is Jerry hasn't taken the map yet. He's going to be going up to Hive off of the back of 3 bases. Of course, the 4th hatchery is going to be on the way, but that's going to be a long, long way away from completion. And eventually, if Kwanwoo can get enough storms, I mean, he does have 6 High Templar here. What I would really like to see, and we're not likely going to see in this game, is Maelstrom. Now, he is going to go for, I believe that's Observer Speed, rather than Observer Sight Range. Shuttle's moving in with some Zealots. Going to be going around the side. I actually think he should have possibly got a Shuttle Speed first, but that would have been from a Rover Support Bay, which he doesn't quite have yet. No Maelstrom being upgraded or anything like that. Looks like Kwanwoo going to try and push out again. Great usage of this high ground. The Scourge have started to come in, so the Obs has been taken down. Oh wow, great snipes by Jerry there on a lot of those Obs. A good storm though by Kwanwoo. But the trouble is, without any observers, I mean, this is probably why he went for observer speed, because he's going to need as many observers as possible. Now, the shuttle, did it go down or is it still there? No, it actually just sort of dropped the units, and the Zealot's going to move in up here. Zerglings in response, however, going to be going to try and get a good engagement on the Zealots. So let's actually need to get on the ramp and stop there if they want to get a good engagement here. Not really anywhere to nestle themselves behind, but he wants to try and snipe this hatchery. I'm not really sure this is the best usage of the Zealots. The Zealots going to go down so quickly, but he's going to get this hatchery quite low on health, which will mean a little bit later on maybe he can push in. And now one thing he can actually do is shuttle some units over here and take a 4th base possibly behind this. But Observer Speed has kicked in now. So many lurkers here. Not the best storm, not really going to get too much, but more Dragoons heading out. Still +2 attack against 2-1 for the Zerg. Going to clear out a good number of these lurkers at the front, but more and more units coming in from Jerry. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of storm going down, whiffing a little bit though. That's a good storm though, but so many lings. Crackling has been upgraded now, and the Dragoons are absolutely melting. He doesn't have any Zealots out in front, and I mean, he's killed a lot of the Zerg units. He has a lot of units back in reserve, but at what cost? The 4th base is up. Nidus Canal is up. A 7th hatchery, 8th hatchery even on the way. I mean, he's going to go out now and try and get a couple of assassin snipes on these lurkers, but the Lings doing so much damage. The Zealots out in front tanking very nicely, but the Observer, the Lurkers, still doing so much damage to this Protoss ball. The Archon at the front trying to do what he can, but these so many Lings. And Kwanwoo going to be forced to move back. Supplies still pretty even. No storm on this High Templar. The Observer does get taken down again. And I mean, with no storm right now, Jerry is looking to be doing a little bit too much damage to our Protoss player here, but Kwanwoo is still holding. We've got a large number of Hydralisks moving in to the 6 o'clock location. And there we go. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of lull in the game, but Jerry going to push forward once again, re-establish his location. Great storm there. Bit of a whiff storm there though, but luckily enough for him, the Lurker's going to run into it. He is going to have to build another Archon. Now he is now finally on +3 attacks, so the units going to be doing a lot more against the units of Jerry. But oh, that's a good storm, but the trouble is he doesn't have enough. I think he needs to go into Reavers behind this. I mean, that's another good storm behind this. He's killing a lot of Lurkers every time he breaks out, but he is also losing a lot of Hydra, a lot of Dragoons. Now, he is thinning the unit count by Jerry, but Jerry's production is absolutely insane. I mean, he's losing and building so many units, but it doesn't really matter. It's almost like Kwanwoo isn't able to make a headway out of his base. Now, a great storm there, gonna help him move forward in this game, but unfortunately, Jerry just with too much stuff still. Kwanwoo's unit count is still dropping. He has full saturation at his third at least, killing 3 Overlords, going to block the production of Jerry for now. That's going to be a little bit of a respite for Kwanwoo in this game, but the Cracklings, I can't even check the upgrades. 1-1 on the Cracklings right now, and I mean the Archon's doing an insane job against them, but the Archon's going to be running into Lurkers once again. A nice storm on this, but could have stormed a huge clump of Lurkers there. Unfortunately going to have to pull back, and Jerry once again pushing forward. It feels like I'm just watching this part of the screen, but if you look at the minimap, you can see just how far ahead Jerry is at this point. He's got a 5th and 6th base coming up now. He's got units flooding in from all different angles, and I mean the main is mining out for Kwanwoo now. The natural is mined out as well, and GG. Jerry holds on to his contain. It does take down Jerry. Sorry, does get taken down by Jerry in game number 1. Now, as you can tell, my voice is dying, so I need to get a little bit of water. To answer your question, Fabian, I am actually BSL5 Kicks, so I'm not BSL5 Dropship, so I don't know who that is, but I appreciate the name. But either way, that's going to take us into game number 2 when we get back after